What is going on, guys? Today we are deep diving into the Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon, and I'm bringing you the top 10 tips that you must know to help you dominate through your playthrough. Either way, if you are just starting or already knee deep into the Avalon's cursed lands, then these tips will help you to build smarter, survive longer, and explore more efficiently. We'll talk about how to reduce gear weight, which skills to prioritize, why you should avoid blocking, how to switch between multiple builds and reset your skills, and a ton more. Also, if you're interested in buying other PC or console games with 50 or 70% discount, then check out Instant Gaming. For example, I want to buy Elden Ring, so we just click on Add to Cart, then click Pay, then input our details and pay. After payment is complete, we will receive activation key, then copy and paste the key in, and it's that simple. So what are you waiting for? Click my link description and check out Instant Gaming for yourself. For the number 1 tip, let's start with gear, which is one of the easiest places to mess up your build. In Tainted Grail, there are 9 gear slots, so the helmet, armor, boots, ring, necklace, gauntlets, greaves, and the totem. There's no item level or rarity restriction, but most gear comes with the attribute requirements. If you don't meet those, then you can still equip the gear, but you won't get any passive bonuses. But here's the kicker, gear has weight. And as your total weight increases, you will get small but stacking debuffs, like slower stamina regen and sluggish attacks. These will start off manageable, but once you hit the super heavy weight class, then your movement speed tanks and combat becomes a slog, unless you're going for a full tank build. So to fix this, we need to visit a grindstone and use the armor weight reduction option. For some gold and materials, you can shave off some weight per every use, but it's expensive, so don't waste it on trash gear. I only use it on the rare blue gear that I know that I will be using for a while. Next up we have gathering resources. Avalon is full of herbs, ores, berries, food and more, but to collect most of it you will need the right tools. So head to the Orlet shop and pick up the essentials like a pickaxe for mining, woodcutting axe for the chopping trees, fishing rod for fishing and a shovel for buried chests and quests. You don't have to equip these in your loadout, just having them in your inventory is enough. Your character will auto-use the correct tool when needed. Also, the shovel is easy to forget, but don't skip it. Many hidden treasures and quests will rely on it. Without it, you will either way miss loot or have to backtrack later. So, just grab all of these tools early and never worry about it again. And now let's talk about the skill tree, which is where your build really takes a shape. There are 6 skill trees, so there's Strength, Endurance, Dexterity, Spirituality, Perception, and Practicality. I personally went for a sword-based warrior build, by going deep into the Strength and grabbing passives like the extra melee damage, 2-handed sword bonuses, lifesteal, and stun effects. This combo lets me burst down enemies and heal at the same time while doing it. The big tip here, don't ignore the small circles under each passive. You need to fully unlock all 5 of them to get the max bonus. For example, a passive might say plus 5 melee damage, but when all 5 nodes are unlocked, then it becomes plus 25%, which is a huge power spike. So don't just chase flashy icons, commit fully to one branch that fits your playstyle and max it out. And this is where your strength comes from, not from gear, but from well-planned skill investments. One more thing, while you can respec your skill tree using a potion, you can only do it once at the start, and then until you can find more origin potions that will happen later in the gameplay. So be careful with how you spend your attribute points and the skill nodes. Try at least few playstyles early, and once you find something you love, then commit to it. Then for my next step, let's talk about switching between weapons and builds. If you are tired of one build, then Tainted Grail actually makes it pretty easy to respec and experiment, but only once at the start. There's a potion that lets you reset all of your skills called the Origin Potion, and I recommend to store it with all of your gear in the stash chest. This means that you can set up multiple builds, so say a tanky bruiser and a rogue style assassin, and swap between these whenever you like. Just remember, don't sell your good gear by mistake. Just put your unused gear in the stash tab, and then label them mentally for different builds. Also, you can consider buying extra pieces from the vendors and reducing their weight for better flexibility. You can always sell them back or buy them back, which is what I personally enjoy to do for myself in the endgame, to test out different builds. Being able to adapt to your playstyle without starting a new game is a huge quality of life feature, so take advantage of it. Then for number 5, here we have a big combat tip: stop blocking. While you can block in the Tainted Grail, it will drain stamina fast. After blocking just 2 or 3 hits in a row, you will often be completely out of stamina, meaning that you can attack, dodge or even run away. So instead focus on dodging. For example, what I do is hit, then dash away, recover stamina and then go back in. This hit and run method is far safer and more effective, especially against groups or bosses. If you ever feel cornered or overwhelmed, just run away, let the stamina recover and reset the fight. No shame in playing smart. Even with the heavy armor, the stamina cost of blocking usually is not worth it, unless you are running a very niche and ultra defensive build. Next, let's talk about decision making. Tainted Grail does have a bunch of dialogue options and stat checks, like using perception or spirituality to pursue characters or uncover secrets. But if you're like me and you prefer just to cut through the fluff and get to the action, then you will be glad to know that consequences aren't game breaking. I went full kill them all mode, and the only real difference I noticed was more enemies to fight and more loot to collect. Sure, some items were marked as stolen, meaning that you can only wear them and not sell it, but honestly, that's a small price to pay. In exchange, I got more gear, more XP and more what I enjoy, which is combat. So if you're all about blood and chaos, then don't overthink your dialogue options. You're not going to break your playthrough, but if you enjoy roleplaying and narrative outcomes, then definitely lean into those. Just know that either path works, so the game gives you room to play your way. My number 7 tip is all about loot. Your inventory has limited weight and you will start getting encumbered fast if you pick up every rusty sword and the broken helmet that drops. Early on, you might be tempted to loot everything, but trust me, most of it will sell for next to nothing, maybe 1 to 10 gold. That's just not worth the hassle of consistently running back to the shop. Instead, what you want to do is focus on the gathering materials and keeping the gear that's rare or that you can actually plan to use for the future builds. And if your inventory is getting bloated, then drop what you don't need. You can always come back to it later if it turns out that it becomes valuable. You also want to use the stash system smartly, so that chest is shared in multiple different locations and you can get access to it or always see it at every shop. It's especially useful if you're trying multiple builds, but if not, then keep it clean and only carry what matters. Next, let's talk about crafting, and this is one of the most overlooked systems in Tainted Grail. But it's actually super useful, both for survival and for managing your inventory. You want to craft potions, food and gear whenever you can. Even if you don't need the item immediately, it will help to clear out raw materials and turn them into something with value. You can sell crafted items for gold or keep them around for fights and exploration. Your food is especially important. Healing does not come easy in this game, and crafting health regeneration meals or the potions can make a big difference in the longer journeys. Plus, some consumables will give you DPS buffs, and those are huge when preparing for tough encounters or boss fights. So whenever you are at the crafting station, take few minutes to cook up everything that you can. It adds up and it could save your life. Also, a quick small tip: you can use these red shrines to fully heal up, and after each time you save the game or load back in, they will reset, so whenever you can, use it instead of the potions. The number 9 tip might sound obvious, but it is one of the most important ones. Explore everything. So this game does not hold your hand. There's no giant glowing marker showing where to go. Sometimes even the quest objective is hidden in a corner of a castle, or buried in some side room. Even if you rush through it, you will miss loot, XP and even important story triggers. So take your time, search every room, open every chest, and activate every fast travel point you find. More often than not, I've had to backtrack to an area just because I missed something small, like a note, a lever, or an optional chest that turned out to be very important later on. And remember, nearly everything you do gives experience, so even if you're not picking up a quest reward, you're still progressing just by going through it. Exploration pays off, both in power and pacing, so do it as much as you can. Last but not least, let's talk about the campfires. You'll sometimes find 10 Vert Soul charges, which can teleport you back to the fast travel instantly. They sound great in theory, but honestly, they're just not worth it. You find them rarely, and you don't need to use them unless you are seriously stuck or need to identify an item, so save them for emergencies. Instead, rely on the campfires. They will let you rest anywhere, heal up, pass the time, and skip the night. It's especially handy when it gets too dark to see, or if you're trying to make sure that the NPCs are back in place. Sometimes the vendors or the quest givers will not be where they should be, so just rest until 9 or 10 AM, and they usually reset back to their normal routes. So let me know what you think about Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, then you definitely don't want to miss my previous video, where I showed even more powerful tips and beginner things that you should know. So click the screen now and I'll see you in the next one.